Yeah. Yeah. So today I want to also be very interactive and very interactive so that I want you actually to give some of the talk. You know, many of you are the Tao Science students, so consider this exam. Really examine you. I'm not going to score you, but I will allow you to give me some of the answers. Yeah. So great. So we'll get started. I will show some of the things. Yeah, so feel free to ask any questions. And if you don't understand something, raise your hands. Or just unmute yourself, ask. Yeah, so I want everybody be with me on this. And also I will ask you to answer to speak as well. Okay. So I learned a little bit about how to teach through this training. I want to start to apply it. Yeah, I want to become a better teacher. Can teach better. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so from beginning. Okay, apologize for the presentation. This is PowerPoint I used at this recent conference on the cosmology. And I was in a hurry, so I just used that PowerPoint I used over there. So basically today, we are going to talk about n+1 dimensional positive field transform negative field for healing and life transformation. So this is a title, and I understand many of you think this just you know, I will explain everything through this, you know, and also have you to have experience during this seminar. Yeah, so just want to let you know this title is n+1 dimensional positive field transforms negative field for healing and life transformation. This is a transformative technique based on quantum physics and Tao Science. I should have put Tao Science first. To heal, transform, and manifest in life. Okay, so this is our topic. So here we were talking about, you know, healing and transformation techniques. So the current medicines right now is, you know, it's very advanced, right? And it's have helped enhanced our lifespans, and but it also have certain limitations. For example, it is mostly address the symptoms, yeah, and but it cannot address the root cause of the sicknesses. And literally all the medicine, it will literally, you know, if you go to a doctor and all the medicine you prescribe is to address the symptoms. So why is that? So we think the reason the current medicine cannot address the root cause because it stay on the classical physics level. So basically all the current science, natural science, medical science is based on the physics and the mathematics. It is use the tools and also how the physics think about the world, right, applied into medical field. So the current medicine is based on the classical physics. So classical physics studies the movement of object under external forces, right? For example, sorry, I'm just going to get out of this so one can see. Sorry. Did I lost you? Yeah, sorry, I lost you. Okay, so So classical physics, for example, the classical mechanical physics, right? It's about everything is movement under a force, gravity, or electromagnetics is talking about, object working on the electromagnetic field, the force, and so on, and so on. So, but then classical physics at the turn of the 20th century, they discovered that classical physics cannot study, is not suitable to study the internal structure of an object or study how that internal structure affects the quality of an object. So the quantum physics is needed. Yeah, so the quantum physics is needed. However, the problem with modern science is that people don't understand quantum physics. They can do mathematics, but they don't understand what is the meaning of the quantum physics. Why quantum physics, quantum phenomena is subjective, meaning that it depends on whether you observe that phenomena, how you observe a phenomena. And it's also non-deterministic, meaning that you can only know the probability for something to happen. You cannot know for sure something is going to happen. And the third of quantum physics is non-local. Things can happen simultaneously at different places. And things happens one place can instantly affect somewhere else. So this kind of phenomena, quantum physicists don't know how to understand them. This is one of the biggest problem right now in physics. And literally, like I actually just last year, I went to Princeton and talking with this one of the founder of the string theory. Many people think he's maybe the smartest human being on Earth. So I was talking to him and about this issue. He said, "Well, just shut up and calculate." He literally said that, and and he was so confused. He don't want to even think about that problem. And yeah, and so yeah, so the replay will be available. Yeah, and so that is why Tao Science, so this work we talk about is also mostly based on the Tao Science, which is, so what is Tao Science? I will also show the PowerPoint. So I don't know my PowerPoint. Okay, apologize for my PowerPoint. Also, it definitely can be better, and yeah, maybe many of you are so wonderful to helping everything. So maybe I'll start reaching out for you to helping the transparent, helping with the PowerPoint. So what is Tao Science? Tao Science is the science about the source. Source is emptiness. And so it is about how everything is created from a source, what everything is made of. And so Tao Science integrates ancient Tao wisdom with quantum physics. And it brings a unified theory for physics and every aspect of life. And it also unifies science and spirituality together. So I'll give you, so how does Tao Science integrate Tao wisdom with quantum physics? Yeah, so the ancient wisdom that is tells us this wisdom of so maybe I'll letting go of the sharing from this, stop sharing. So what is the ancient wisdom that Tao Science utilize? So Tao Science has 3 laws. And the first law literally is based on the ancient Tao wisdom that everything is made of three things. One is a shen. You see it, right? Qi, shen. So this is the ancient Tao wisdom. So everything's made of three things. One is shen, one is qi, one is jing. And so what is Shen? Shen in Tao Science, so this is one thing which is breakthrough for, because Asian wisdom, people don't know what is a Shen. There's many interpretations, many insights, but it's from the spiritual point of view. From spiritual point of view, this Shen is actually means miraculous quality. It is not something can be touched, something can be seen, but it's a miraculous quality that everyone has. But what is it? How science in the past, people don't know how to use, science cannot explain this. So in Tao Science, we realize that Shen is basically, include the soul, include the spiritual heart, include the mind, which consciousness, the three aspects of the Shen. But then these three aspects of the Shen is, in a scientific term, we find that it's basically is the information. And the soul is basically the content of the information. Heart is a receiver of the information. Mind is a processor of the information. And the qi is the energy. Energy is what can move and change the matter. So jing is the matter. So what is matter? Matter is what we can see, what we can hear, what we observe in this physical world. So it is correct to say everything we see, everything we touch is the matter. Yeah, so it's physical, which is completely true. But on the other hand, what moves the matter is the energy. What determines the energy is the information. Information is what gives the form and shape to the matter, to everything we experience. So what is behind our life, the most important thing is the Shen, which is the information. So this insight can give a quantum physics a new interpretation. Quantum physicists cannot understand quantum physics, but based on this ancient Tao wisdom, we can understand quantum physics. Basically, quantum physics, what is the new understanding of the quantum physics? Basically, we say quantum physics tells us everything is a quantum vibrational field, right? And it's made of these three aspects. In fact, the wave function, quantum physics said everything is a vibrational field, and this vibrational field is made of three aspects. It's made of the probability. So quantum field has many vibrations, many possibilities, and so and each possibility has certain probability to be chance to be in certain vibrations, right? So the vibration can be described by the wave length and also frequencies. Yeah, this is N, this is N, and this is N. Yeah. So Tao Science give us a new interpretation of quantum physics, that everything, this information is the probability, statistic nature, undeterministic nature of the quantum physics is because everything is made of information. Information basically describes different possibilities. Yeah. So each one of us have many possibilities. Don't think your life is just one-way road, right? And this probability is basically described what kind of information in our field. And then this wavelength and also frequency is related to the energy. And then this energy and also frequency, the probability determines what happens in the matter, physical level. Yeah. So based on the Tao wisdom, we give a quantum physics interpretation and then explain why everything is indeterministic and also why things are subjective, because this matter is determined by what information you are going to give to your system. And what you experience depends on what information you give. And that information depends on your heart, what information your heart is going to receive, and how your mind is going to process that information. Yes? Great. Yeah. So this is how Tao Science give a new interpretation to quantum physics and help us to understand what quantum physics is really saying. And then after we give this interpretation, we can use quantum physics so now with this interpretation, not only we can understand quantum physics, we can also give the soul and heart and mind a quantum physics definition. So the soul is basically the content of information, basically is probability. How many states in your vibrational field, and what is the probability you stay at each of those fields, each of those states, and that is your soul. So if I want to find out how big your soul is, so basically how many possible states that is inside your soul. And also, what is the frequency you are at some of those frequencies? Are you stayed more time, have more probability, stay at low frequency, or stayed more time at a high frequency, right? So, yeah, so this quantum physics, we can use quantum physics to study all of it. So that is what's amazing thing about the Tao Science. In Tao Science, we can not only understand what quantum physics means, we can also use quantum physics to study the spiritual phenomena, all spiritual phenomena, and also use quantum physics to study all spiritual phenomena. So at this moment, the scientist was trying to study about life, and then they find it's very difficult to define what life is. What makes life, And so we propose that we need to use quantum physics Tao Science to study life. So anybody want to share what do you think life is? Yeah. So I see some questions. Yeah, feel free to share. What do you think is the life is, and what makes life? Do you think awareness of frequency is a relational factor to information's assembly? Yes, exactly, Christine. Yeah, and also your souls or the soul of that situation's information assembly. Yeah. Or the soul's assembling, a soul's structure. Yeah. Very good question, Christine. Yeah. So Ulrich said accumulation of positive information and a connection. Very good work. You have studied Tao Science. Life is connect with others. Beautiful, Sabine. Linda, life is experience of Tao service. Beautiful. Eva, life is expression of the soul standing. That's beautiful. Great. So very beautiful. And so I can see, each one of you have very high understanding. And Christine, life is love. Very wonderful. Monica is life is connection. Yes. Carol, life is the combination of consciousness, subtle energy, and intention, self-organizing at all levels of skill. Life is our experience of this. Yeah, beautiful, Carol. Richardson. Life is a combination of consciousness, subtle energy, and intention, self-organizing at all levels of skill. Life is our experience of this. That's beautiful. And beautiful. Carol, you want to share a little bit more about your what you think of life? Maybe unmute yourself. Just Carol Richardson.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. How would you like me to address you? Dr. Rulin?
Yeah,
Dr.
just Roland, Dr. Roland is okay. Yeah. Well, where
Or,
do you from?
well, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't know if you saw my first post. What you just described on the board there is almost exactly what universal consciousness helped me articulate in my dissertation, which I just successfully defended on March 3rd. So I'm
Okay.
hoping we can connect. The
Yes,
main
yes.
difference is just that I bring in a global perspective, like the Platonic world of ideas, in order to connect with what is information and how information gets energetically expressed in nature. So I know you weren't asking about that. You were asking about life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. And also tell me a little bit about, so are you in some PhD program or something?
Yes, at the
Yeah,
California
tell
Institute of
us a little bit
Integral
about
Studies.
your work.
My PhD is in philosophy of religion
Mhm,
with a concentration in philosophy, cosmology, and consciousness.
mhm,
And I've felt led to this in part because of doing energy healing, so working with chi and
mhm,
distant healing. And once I started doing distant healings, I started having an amazing experiences of the effectiveness of the energy and the intentions and conscious experiences of consciousness across distance. And so I
mhm,
knew the universe is much more than Western science allows us to know that it is. And
mhm,
so the universe and universal consciousness helped me express that fuller
mhm.
understanding of the universe in my dissertation. And I'm very grateful for this experience. It warms my heart to see what you've got on the board. I studied Taoism and included that in my dissertation as well.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm glad also Nikki's here. Wonderful. And now to talk with Nikki for a while. That's beautiful. And then maybe Nikki okay. So yeah, that's great. That's great. And also yeah, share about your perspective of the life you just shared. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's nice to see you again, Ruin. And hello, everyone. So, yeah, I believe life is an opportunity to experience and then express our own unique perspective on the cosmic picture.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good. Happy to see you. Beautiful. And beautiful Nikki. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so I saw so many different opinions about life becoming one with the source. Life is breathing. I think this is all beautiful. Life is conscious existence. Life is awareness and to be present. Life is a divine experience itself. That's beautiful. Life becoming one with the source and all. Beautiful. Yeah, so okay, so we go on and so in Tao Science, we everything is determined by the information. So life is a phenomena, right? So right now the science is trying to define life through, okay, have digestive system, have a genetics, or have can pass on the lives, and give birth to new lives and stuff like that. So it is all based on the physical qualities. And so in Tao Science, we trying to give life definition from quantum physics point of view, more based on the information, because information is what determines everything. And so what is the quality of the information that makes something have life, right? And so we find that in Tao Science, we find that life can have two kinds of information. One is positive information, and one is negative information. So positive information is what brings the connection, brings the order, and it brings harmony. And this is positive information. And the negative information brings the disconnection, disorder, disharmony. So, and for example, in quantum physics, now a big area we study actually become very important study in the quantum computing and quantum computer science, is to realize the quantum entanglement is to utilize the quantum entanglement to do the quantum computing, and which quantum entanglement is basically basic quality of quantum system. It's a kind of connection between different states. If two states in quantum system is connected, and then they have an entanglement, quantum entanglement, and then you can utilize this entanglement to do calculations and to teleport. Literally, you can bring the information energy to another planet instantly through the quantum entanglement, if you can establish that quantum entanglement. And so quantum entanglement, you can calculate how much quantum entanglement you have, right, in a system. And then that is measures part of the positive information in that system. Yes. So the quantum entanglement entropy is basically measures information. The quantum entanglement entropy basically measures how much positive information exists in that system. And notice, so right now the whole quantum computer science is really trying to, the scientists really trying to study how to establish all the quantum entanglement and also utilize it for calculations and for doing all kinds of miraculous things like teleport, communication, and to keep the data in secret and nobody can steal it. Yeah. So this is a very fascinating field, and because of this, what's happening in the study of this quantum entanglement entropy is really moving forward very fast. So this is basically studying the positive information in that is a system's a system have. And in the past, the physics mostly focus on studying the negative information, which is a disconnection, disorder, disharmony, which is basically the normal sense of entropy, right? And which measures a disorder that exists in a system. So which is basically studies the negative information in the Tao Science. So negative information is basically disconnection, disorder, disharmony. Yeah, so there's two kinds of information that exist in both all of us, in everything, everyone. And you can calculate it, in the, at least theoretically, calculate that is how much negative information inside you, and also how much positive information inside you. And if you have positive information, then you literally can use the positive information to do a lot of miraculous things. So we propose in Tao Science that life system is basically a system that also, by the way, so today's talk is based on a paper I just finishing up, and some of you interested, I can send it over to you. Yeah, so life is basically a system that can maintain. So each one of us to realize, every one of us have positive information, and also realize because of positive information, our body can be stable, right? And we can have this body. If we don't have the connection order, our body fall apart, literally we'll be dead, right? When we're dead, our body starting to decay and dissimulate, and the negative starting to take over. But when we are alive, it's a positive information is taking over, is trying to keep the order and keep the connection we have with other people, right? With our family, with our work, right? When we're dead, that connection is gone, right? That's so the positive information is what really, is what gives the life. So life is a system that is trying to maintain, a system that can maintain, right? It has a system to maintain and also to enhance or pass on positive information. So this is our definition of life. So life is a system that can maintain and also enhance. So we come to this life to build the connections, right? Build the connections, build family, build work, business, organizations, right? All of this is to build connections, right? It's to build order, build harmony, and also ecosystem. Ecosystem is basically they are building that beautiful connection, order, and harmony. So that ecosystem build a new way of next level of higher level of life. And so the human being, we come to this Mother Earth to build more connection, more order, and more harmony to build a higher level of life. Yeah. And also we can pass on this life, pass on this connection, pass on the order and harmony. Some people pass on the harmony and this order through giving birth to a baby and raise a baby and pass on, what they know, and pass on and build a family, have more and more connections, right? And some people do it through the knowledge, right? Pass on their knowledge, wisdoms. And a lot of people here are Master Sha students. So Master Sha have this because he's, he can actually download the positive information to you. That is also a way to pass on the positive information through the download, which is a higher level of a spiritual being can do through just transmission. Yeah, so that is a higher level of life. Yeah, so this is some background, yeah, about what is life and what is it. So today we want to talk about higher dimensions. Yeah, higher dimensions. What is dimension? Yeah. So far, any questions? Any comments about this? And then after this, we'll talk about the dimension. I just want to make sure we Bonita said, life is the experience of free will and soul consciousness. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, so maybe starting to think about how this scientific definition we give here about life, can this help you to understand what's your way of life scientifically? Yeah, so that is one thing I like to do a lot. So so maybe I invite you also to do that. Life is a way of being, the Tao, that way of being in which all is well-intending well-being for all. Yeah. So what is well-being, right? So in science, can we scientifically define what is well-being? So my insight, what occurred to me is that the well-being is be able to be connected to our true self. So within ourselves, we are, the cells, organs are connected and balanced, right, in harmony. And also where people, and also well-being relationship is we are connected with our, we're connected with our family, in the work with our colleagues. We have to be able to connect with them. So the well-being is basically the positive information is dominant, right? And so well-being, yeah, is a life, right? So so cannot see board if you write below. Okay, thank you so much for pointing that out. I'll be more careful about this. Yeah, so let me know about this. Challenge, maybe bring it higher. Yeah, okay, so I'll be aware of that. Okay, so next we want to know, so today we want to talk about how to enhance life. How to enhance life through going to the higher dimensions, right? First, we want to know what is a dimension, okay? So I want to share a little PowerPoint about some of the, from my paper, how to define the dimension. And so that, and this is something for everybody, I hope everybody trying to grasp this, okay? Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, so so also the current problem facing in physics is that one is have a unified theory and how to bring science and spirituality together. So all these three problems, so Tao Science can address all three problems. And I just went to a conference to showcase how the Tao Science can solve the, how our, in Tao Science, we come up with a grand unified theory that bring quantum physics and general relativity together, and that can be applied into cosmology and solve some very difficult problem in cosmology, which is very exciting. And so what is dimension? So dimension in physics, dimension of an object is defined as the number of degrees of freedom a point can moving on that object. Yeah, so it represents the number of independent parameters or coordinates required to define the position of a point constrained to the object. Yeah, so so dimension, that's the one hoping or starting to, so you can read about it. And also, so operationally, so dimension is the intrinsic property of an object. operationally, the dimension of an object or system can be defined by covering it with small balls of radius, like epsilon. And if the number of such ball required is on the order of epsilon minus n, then the object have a dimension of n. Yeah. So I hope. So this is something I want to, yeah, so I'll explain this a little bit. So what is, so we are, you know, so if think about our object, right? And so if you move to this object and how many ways you can move or coordinates you can determine need to be used to describe the movement on this object, then this is how much dimension of this object has. Yeah. So for example, if object is just a line, then I just needed one object of one coordinate to decide to tell me where this, you know, wherever the point on this object. And then this is just a one dimension if I just need to use one coordinate. And then if it's on the surface, if something on the surface, you know, I need two coordinates to determine. So this is the, you know, and then there's two coordinates to determine where everything is at. Then this is two-dimensional. But then on a three-dimensional object, then it needs three coordinates to decide. And then you can, so what do you think about, you know, some of the object, like they find that the fractal, right? Fractal, for example, one of the fractal, I don't know the name of this fractal. So basically you kind of, you know, make something like this. You take off maybe, take off this middle part, right? And you keep doing that. You can keep doing that. Keep taking out the middle part. So keep taking out the middle part, and then this this object just becomes smaller and smaller part of the smaller part of this you know, like this, you know, you take out this middle part, then the area is just become you know, if suppose this is a 1, then there will be -3, right? And then you take off furthermore, it will be 1 minus 3, and then again 1 minus 3, you know. And so so actually, yeah, so you keep going this way. And so although this project, you know, this object is in the two-dimensional, but you take out part of it. Yeah, so the dimension of this self-similar object, then it's actually not two-dimensional. It's actually a fractional dimension. To determine all the object, you know, that is on this object, you find out the number of this you know, points or lines that is on this object is proportional. Actually, I forgot about this one. And it's proportional to fraction number. So this fraction number is, you know, fractal is not just a one-dimensional, two-dimensional, third dimension. It is actually a fraction number of dimension. So this gives, so they come up, the mathematicians come up with way to describe this kind of phenomenon, give a generalized definition for the dimensions, which is basically is that, so if you, any object, can have any kind of shape or form, and or as a fractal, which has a very complicated structure, right? And you go to infinity, that structure. And how can you measure the dimension for that? The way to mention it, you use a small ball of very small small radius, like epsilon, and then you try to cover up this small ball with this radius, and then you find out maybe the length or area of this object, or volume of this object is proportional to epsilon minus n. And you can literally, do a measurement of, with computer to calculate this n, and you find out this, and you can find out this, find out the number for this n. And then this n is basically the dimension of this object. Yeah. So any questions about this? Yeah. So this is important for us to understand the dimension. Okay. So Nina, fourth dimension is so very good question, Nina. So yes. So so dimension, one dimension is just we are moving on the line, right? And then 2-dimension, we can move on the surface, and 3-dimension is we are moving on the wall. We can move on the volume. And so I have to say, in our human beings, we are getting into the 3-dimension. We can go into the space, right? So because before we mostly be constrained on Mother Earth, which is too, kind of like we can move on the 2-dimensional surface, and with occasional can go in a little bit restricted 3-dimensional abilities, right? But now we have a greater 3-dimensional abilities to look into the space, and billions of years into the space, and also so this is a 3-dimension. And then the 4-dimension, so Einstein, I put the Einstein picture there. So Einstein find that, so if we normally live in a 3-dimension, and then time, when we are moving very fast at close to the speed of light, then the time become actually become connected with the space. And you have to consider space and time as one. So space and time together, they make up the 4-dimension. So our 4-dimension is basically the space and time plus 1. But normally we are still stayed around 2 to 3 dimensions, right? And we still consider we don't have the ability. If you live, we're not really, most humanity is not living in the 4-dimension unless we really can speed up to travel at the speed of light. Then we can make the space and time, make them to time become a changeable. So right now, as a 3-dimensional being, we don't have much ability to change time. But if you have ability to become a 4-dimensional being, and then you can go back to time. Just like we can go back to, space, we can go this way and that way, right? But of course, some people think the time have a direction, right? So that is another issue, is is related to our consciousness. So that will be another talk. Maybe one day we will talk about that one as well. Yeah. And So we right now just talk about space and time is one dimension. And then, if you really think about time, and if you can really live in the fourth dimension, and then the fourth dimension, you can go back to the time and change the past, or you can go to the future and change the future, and so that is if you can really become the four-dimensional being. And then I think Nina's question is, what is about the 5 dimension? So what is 5 dimension, right? And so the 5 dimension, so if you, right now we don't know what that 5 dimension is, basically a dimension, right? And in fact, the God, higher beings, they live in a 5-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimension higher. For the higher 5-dimensional beings, then they can, because the lower dimension is a projection from the higher dimension. To think about, a line is, so the surface, right, contains infinite lines. So any line can just be a projection from this plane, right? And the plane can be a projection, and this 3-dimension contains infinite number of 2 dimensions. And 4-dimension contains infinite number of 3 dimensions. And from the higher dimension, you can create any line. You can create, for 3 dimension can contain any surface. It's just use different projection, right? So for the 5-dimensional beings, then it can create any 4-dimensional objects. If we consider our universe is 4-dimension, then literally 5-dimensional beings, they can create any universes. So for our 4-dimensional or 3-dimensional being, we don't know what that 5-dimension is, But, and in fact, whatever we are measuring in the 4-dimension where we are now, and or we consider this 3 time as a 4-dimension, and we cannot even imagine or measure the higher dimensions. Whatever we measure is our dimension. You know what I mean? Because that's where we are living on, and we can only speculate. So one of the things, my research is the grand unified theory. So we find out, in grand unified theory, so we find out there's there's many, like 23, I don't know, 22 elementary particles, right? And particles and fundamental particles, elementary particles, and the 4 fundamental forces, right? And also, we also discovered, the universe, dark matter, dark energy, and also large structure of the universe and all of that. So in our grand unified theory, we find that we can, if I can construct a 10-dimensional space and time, and in this 10-dimensional space and time, all of this and also a lot more is become one. And they all coming from one mathematical formula, including dark matter, energy, and our whole universe is all coming from, in 10 dimension, all coming from one mathematical formula. So it is really what we observe in our 4-dimensional world is a projection, possibly, from our grand unified theory, Tao Science grand unified theory. Is really what we observe our universe is a projection. It actually takes 10 dimension. It's in the 10 dimension, it's just one object, it's one thing. in a higher dimension, they're one thing. In our low dimension, we look at, they're very different, they're completely different. Yes, which is fascinating, very, very fascinating. And okay, yeah, you cannot see. Okay, so any questions? Can also unmute yourself, just ask your question. So Iris said, Dr. Rulan, what is the difference between a human being from the 3-dimension and the 4-dimension or higher? Yeah, so thank you for that question. That is a very good question. All questions are good, so feel free to ask any questions. So the difference between 3-dimension, yeah, like 3-dimension, 4-dimension, you have the ability to change your reality at a higher level, at a deeper level, faster. So each dimension, if you go to higher and higher dimension, that means you have a greater ability to change and to and also to create. Like if you just in one dimension, you can just go back and forth, right? And but then in the 2-dimension, you can create any lines, in whatever shape of the line, and just almost instantly, just do a different projection. But then if we live on this line, if you're trying to change, that takes a lot of effort, right? And also, with each increase of the dimension, the information, energy, and matter increase exponentially. So in one dimension, in each dimension, you could contain infinite information, energy, and matter. So even in the one dimension, it could be the energy information goes to the infinite as well. But then in the 2-dimension, that infinity goes exponentially higher. Yeah. So going to the higher dimension not only enhance your information, energy, and matter exponentially, infinitely, and also your ability to do things. It's just completely different. Like going to the higher dimension, you can instantly change things at a higher level. If I go to higher dimension, I can change the particles, elementary particles, what this world is made of, and what the forces is made of. I can change things effortlessly. That makes sense? Yeah. So so feel free to ask any questions. Could you please say that again? So space and time is a continuity only at the speed of light. What is it at the lower velocity? So at the lower velocity, like we are at, and so yeah, we don't see time, we are one with time, and same as time and space become separate. We don't see time and space as one. And we go back to the 3-dimension. And so in our theory, I'll spend maybe in the future, spend more time talk about this the higher dimension. In our theory is that so the source, I want, maybe mention about this, to talk about higher dimension. So we will talk about maybe higher dimension a little bit more. So the higher dimension, like, so either, so in our grand unified theory, so the higher dimension, but then because of the because of the forces and attachments, and some of the there is condensation. Some of vibration, they become condensate. And so space-time is basically in a series made of vibrations. And some of vibration, they coupled, and then they become, and they condensate. And then 6 of this dimension become curled up. It's in physics called compactified. And so, and we cannot see them anymore. Anyway. What if consciousness travels at or faster than the speed of light? Cannot consciousness transcend time? Yeah, and so consciousness actually is what creates the time. Yeah, time does not really exist. It's our own consciousness creates the time. So when we can transcend space and time, we go to the emptiness. Yeah, so this is, yeah, a very good question, but a very profound question. Yeah, so we can explore that. So yeah, definitely, Carol, let's connect. And my email I'll share with you. And yeah, let's connect. We can definitely love to connect with you about what you are doing. Maybe one day you can also share with us. So yes, can you see me now? Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, so somebody trying to manipulate this. Iris, what is the difference between a human being from 3-dimensional? Okay, this is already addressed. Yeah. Yeah, so feel free to unmute yourself also. When one understands its point of dimension, does it enable a shared point of relativity, hence a historical grounding of an encounter in space and time? We assume. How about Christine? You ask it. Yeah, so I don't have to read it. Yeah, and also build more connection if you.
Hi, so nice to see you. Yeah, I totally think everything you're saying is so on point and profound. And then it's how does it get put into words even to ask the question? But to your point about this point of dimension and enabling it, so I feel like this point of dimension, when we can embody and understand it, it gives us a grounded point of perspective and perception to center on, to recognize the information transfer and exchange that cultivates our reality. So, and that reality is formed and informed by forces and fronts that are, giving us information about that dimensional point. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, literally, actually, dimension is related to how far we allow our consciousness to go. It really is. So we are present in this 3 or 4 dimensions, 3-dimension, because our consciousness are limited. So that is why in the history, the saints, the enlightened ones, they give up everything, and the physical life, and to cultivate and do every possible way to cultivate, go to higher dimensions. So that is very smart, because when they can go to the higher dimension, they can do the 3-dimensional things very easy. And also actually they even have a point to gain eternal life, like, in Chinese history, the people, they are Taoist masters, they can make gold, and just turn the stone into gold instantly. And they can do the things they want to do. Yeah, change their body into different shapes.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. But so the consciousness determines the dimension of space and time. Yeah, so that's a very good question. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And so that is what insights also from the Tao Science. And so Emily, go ahead.
Hi. So thank you so much for this presentation. It's so fascinating. I had a question about the practical application of what you said not too long ago. You said that if you try to do a lot in the same dimension to make change, that it takes a lot of effort. So this is something I struggle with, especially for my business. There's so many things I can do, so many marketing, advertising, product development, all that. Is it better to spend my time, instead of trying to do all these three-dimensional activities, to instead spend my time trying to connect at a higher dimension?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
And for sure. And very enlightened beings, or they can see the higher wisdom, they will spend all the time to uplift their consciousness. Because if you're busy to death, you are still ants. You know what I mean? So think about ants. They're busy doing, working very hard, very organized, and whatever they're doing, they're still living that, that sphere, right?
Okay.
Do you want to spend the rest of your life like ants, or do you want to go to higher dimensions and then whatever you want to do as an ant, you can easily do it, and at a much higher level.
Got it. Okay. So
And also
to uplift.
Another thing is the purpose of life actually is is really to enhance our positive information. That is what life is, and that's the purpose of life. And only when you go into the higher dimension, you can take it to much higher level, and also the quality and also the amount, So yeah, so if you're really enlightened, which is you are on this enlightened journey, and yeah, so that is what you need to do. And spend all your time doing that. And then you find out, if you're trying to expand yourself, you find what you want to do is really effortless. You actually don't even need to do it. It just comes to you.
That would be great.
Yeah, I think that's what I experienced, honestly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I think I would love to connect, maybe through a consultation, on how I can transform some of my blockages that's keeping me from focusing on the upliftment versus focusing on the three-dimensional activities.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, really do that. That is the most important thing. They're really, they're really nothing more important. If you want to keep suffering, and you can just keep going on your old way, and you just cycle of suffering, or old patterns, just suffering at different ways and different forms, and maybe get a little better, maybe get a little bit less, but that's all your own judgment. But still, you're just in the same level, and
yeah. All right. Thank you so much for the wisdom.
Yeah. Denise, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Rulin. I wanted to know if you would please expand a little bit on the benefits and the direction. If the difference of one spending like the time with their Shen, improving their Shen, with the heart defined as like the physical heart, versus the heart defined as the spiritual heart. And so that we could see that if we spent all this time, like you were mentioning about the ants, they were quite busy. I mean, I think that's complete. Yeah, if you could describe the difference of the potentials.
Difference of what again? Can you maybe say?
The difference of the potentials when we are all trying to raise our Shen Qi Jing high, our soul, heart, mind, energy, matter higher, to a higher frequency. But if one is studying and expanding their their connection with their physical heart, and another is expanding their connection with their spiritual heart, what there was one called the message center, like a little portrayal of the potentials that can come from when one isolates these studies.
Yeah. So in Tao Science, this, physical and Shen, Qi, Jing, right? The soul, heart, mind, energy are one. So if you can truly connect with your physical heart, and that is connect with your spiritual heart. And also you have to use your spiritual heart to connect with your physical heart. So if you cannot connect with your physical heart, or if you just use your eyes, right, to connect with your with your physical heart, of course, that is not really connection. You just maybe see it, have operations to your heart, and that is not really a connection, or that kind of connection is very, 2, 3, 3D, and which is, but you're not connecting on the spiritual level, mind level, heart level, and soul level. Yeah. So to really connect, you need the soul, spiritual heart. So that is, I've been teaching all these classes, really help you to learn how to utilize your spiritual heart to receive the vibration, to receive the information. Yeah. And which is the key for manifestation, for going to the higher dimensions, actually. Yeah. Want to go to higher dimensions. How can we get out of the prison, or, go to higher dimension from the 2, 3 to 4 and 5, is to use the spiritual heart. The physical heart, there's no way. This physical body cannot get us. I mean, just using the physical cannot get us anywhere. If we use the physical, everything we see is 2 dimension, at most 4 dimension. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 or 4. There's no way we can get to the higher. We can speculate, they're higher, but it's through the spiritual heart we can have experience of higher dimensions.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Monica.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruli. Love you, everyone. I was really touched by everybody comment, and the last one, I think it was by Emily. And I follow the practices and the practices of Dr. Ruli, and so she was asking about what kind of marketing to choose or something like that. And I haven't done any marketing, really, like ads or anything for my YouTube channels. And basically, we're just doing Dr. Ruli meditations and having sessions with her. Our YouTube channel called Mommy's Art School for Children has reached, my husband said, 168 countries of the 196 from the whole world. And I just was like, mind blowing. Like we cannot even comprehend how it happened with the mind, but from our hearts, we just believe, like it's so everything possible, and with the type of practices that you guide us to do, beloved Dr. Berlin. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it's really, if you use the heart, and you can create miracles. Yeah, and go into the higher consciousness. And some people asking how to go back to the past. Remember, all is the consciousness. The space-time is actually, it's made up the consciousness. Everything in this world we do is made up consciousness. And but you can go back to the past consciousness and change that, and then you can change the present time. And that is also, we do the karma cleansing, and also releasing certain traumas, and also, yeah, So that is also part of the healing modalities. Rika, what is the one mathematical? Yeah, we're not going to talk about that, but you can read some of my papers about that. It's not related to today. So Eva, we want to understand from one dimension what is not possible. Yeah, well, just like a worm, right? Worm is on the one tree, and that's all it can do. It cannot go into, other places to experience a bigger Mother Earth and universe. Of course, it can develop the higher consciousness, maybe to explore the universe, so go deep within and then connect with the whole universe. So that's just external dimensions. And so there are also internal dimensions. So like internal different parts of our body has different dimensions, and also our soul. Our body may be 3-dimension, but our soul could be in a higher dimension. Your information in your field could be in a higher dimension. And also, like, for example, they find the different body parts, like our lungs, and they can calculate the dimension of the healthy lung. So they take a CT scan of that lung, and then from that scan, that data, they can calculate the healthy lung, what their dimension is. And then when the lung gets sick, they also can do a CT scan, and they find out the lung that is sick have lower dimensions. Yeah. And so right now they actually can use the fractal dimension and a change of dimension of different parts of the body for diagnosis. So whatever we measure is still our dimension. This cracked me up, Denise. Study of Tao is such an opportunity to embrace humility. Beautiful, beautiful. Humility and honor the higher dimension with the greatest appreciation. What an amazing foundation for rocketing us beyond form, connecting with all that is with the highest respect. Beautiful. Hasha, how does Shen teaching apply in different dimensions? I understand it from perspective. Hasha, maybe you want to ask the question yourself so that we can understand your question better. You can unmute yourself, Hasha.
I did.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking from the perspective of matter and the subconsciousness. Like, I want to know, particularly with the subconsciousness, because on the Shen Qi level, in the dense body, we can experience, okay, we do the soul, heart, mind, and energy and matter. So we are in action. And from the mind level, where I'm talking from is if you have a blockage, like a diagnosis of a mental condition like ADHD or dyslexia or something like that, we understand it from the dense body. But what happens when you are actually uplifting yourself into the light body? Does this thing still affect you? Does it still is there a dimension where it doesn't affect you anymore?
Yeah, if you go to higher dimension, you can heal that. So that is the whole point of this seminar. We're going to show you how to by going to the higher dimension, you can heal sickness.
in the light body, we would need to know the dimension at which we are actually struggling with that particular, whatever you call information, negative information. Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah, negative information is realized it's just disconnection.
Okay, and the
So
second,
if that disconnection,
yeah,
if
and
that
I don't.
disconnection is happen at a higher dimension, I guess I still don't understand your question. Maybe I'm not asking you.
And also, I'm not good at asking the question. I think I understand it, but I don't know how to ask it. And I was also trying to see how I align myself to, the soul, heart, mind, energy, matter. But it is that's the whole issue about communication. When you are out of alignment, everything is in a certain way. It does not resonate with how you want to actually have it, because everything is out of that alignment. So
Yeah.
there is a difficulty in every aspect: communication, expression, action, things like that. So this is where I wanted to see how one actually progresses and how one steps forward into uplifting them.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so that is what I'm going to talk about is to enhance your positive information and also to connect, right? And when you and that is also let go of the mind, Yeah, of course, we're doing the science. We're right now in the mind, but it's just use your heart to connect within your mind to help you to connect at more bigger scope. Yeah, but we will talk about that too. It's really, so that's just basically the whole point is that the negative information, this disconnection caused the issues inside our relationships, finances, or inside our body. There's some disconnection that happened. And so that, which is determined by the negative information, right? Negative information basically describes what kind of disconnection you have. And so this negative information, they also have their dimensions. Yeah, so like I said, like sick lungs, right? And you can measure its dimension, and you find that they have a dimension. But right now we can only find out the physical level, and the soul level, that's another question. So and then also the also a part of our body, yeah. Yeah, so the negative information have their dimensions, and also our positive information also have its dimensions as well. Okay. Karina, you want to ask your question? Go ahead, or Sharon, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to know if it's from Tao Science perspective, is it right to say that there is no space and time, that everything is happening now and here, and our level of awareness, our consciousness, the information that we have in our field, it is what determines our ability not only to connect, but to experience other dimensions?
Yeah. So the consciousness, the space and time is just construct, our consciousness construct this space and time. And also space and time, it describes what the level of our consciousness is. And it's just one of those tools you describe your consciousness, and yeah, so space-time is it's really it is just construct from a consciousness, yeah. So it's it's not something exists, but in reality nothing exists. Ultimately nothing exists. All is empty. but then this emptiness full of richness. So at this moment, and this emptiness is internal, and it contains every possibility. So at this moment, how much you can experience, how much you can be conscious of, that determines your life. How much you can receive, how come you can experience at this moment. That is everything you have. There's nothing else. Your husband or your aspect life is just different construction, including space and time. What is really internal is this moment. What is your experience? If at this moment you can just experience fully, yeah, open your heart, truly experience this moment, that determines the quality of your life, determines your dimension, determines everything. So what is really real is this moment. For you. So Carol, from Eric, how can the Matrix movie illustrate your point? For example, the portals that allow you to move from one place to another. Yeah, I have not really watched that movie. So from port allows you to move from one place to another. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can only guess what he says. So at different portals, you could think about different projections from the higher dimension. And you know, if you're in the higher dimension, you can move one, or you are in different reality, literally, you know, if in the same dimension, you can move easily, you know, from one place, just like we can walk, you know, I can walk from my room to go to downstairs, and from this room go downstairs. You can move them, you know, or if a high dimension, you can move from different universe to another universe, right? In 4 dimensions, 5 dimensions, you can move from one universe to another universe and instantly. And yeah. So Svecha, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Roland. I'm so happy to be here. So yeah, I just had a question. You know, earlier you were saying that we can move to the higher dimension. So I'm not really clear as to how we, you know, being in this dimension, how do we transform our life so that we can move to higher dimensions? If you can throw some light on it, like
yeah,
what
definitely.
we should do so that, you know, we
Yeah.
can also, you know, move to higher dimension.
Yeah, I think, and so this is what we want to do, you know, through this seminar. In the end, we'll do a practice.
Okay,
Also give you the
okay,
technique.
okay.
Yeah, we'll discuss a
Okay.
little technique and
Okay.
experience some of this. Yeah, thank you, Svecha.
Thank you.
I will answer your question. You know, I saw your
Okay.
email. I will answer you today.
No problem.
I
No
apologize.
problem.
Yeah.
No problem, Dr. Roland. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm so
love you,
happy I
love
could
you.
be here today.
Have a
Love you,
lovely
Dr. Roland.
And Carol, go ahead.
Thank you. There was a question which I think you were reading, but I couldn't see it, about how do we move from one place to another. And I'd like to bring a different perspective from my experience, because I'm still wondering how this works, what I'm experiencing. It's not a physical moving from location to location, but I think it picks up on that question, and I'm not sure whose question it was. I'm wondering whose question it was and what exactly the question was. But so I've been doing distance healing for roughly about 2 decades, maybe not quite 2 decades. Energy healing longer than that, but from a distance, about 2 decades. And in 2023, I started, and when I say please understand that's an idea of being disconnected from, you know, that's negative information. It's some kind of that's disconnected from the whole, right? So as connected with the whole, what I've experienced is my field of awareness going to the person wherever they are, even all the way across the United States or halfway across the United States or wherever, and knowing, being able to feel their energies of their chakras, feel the energies, the subtle energies of their body, and knowing what information is stored there, like what negative experiences, what painful emotions, what negative limiting self-beliefs. And I'm still wondering how to explain that this is real, because I'll say things to people, and this has happened, you know, dozens of times maybe now, and included a dog healing miracle. I mean, the dog is not was not doing something. Well, maybe the dog was doing something amazing and I just didn't know, but I'm wondering how to explain this, that my field of awareness can go somewhere else. It's happened numerous times during meditation, but I'm wondering how you would explain this in terms of dimensions and the Tao and Tao science. It's
Yeah,
just
so everything
the
is a
most
quantum physics.
miraculous.
Yeah, so quantum physics, this the vibration contains in all space and times. In all space and time. So once and so your field is existing everywhere. There's no obvious restrictions, except you really put your mind, say, I have a restriction. I'm only limited here. I don't want to go anywhere, or it's not possible for me to go anywhere. Then, then maybe, and in some reality, you're not going anywhere. But you're a healer, so your consciousness can go that way. And but literally quantum physics can, with our interpretation of quantum physics, Tao Science quantum interpretation of quantum physics, it can explain all the spiritual healing. We call it spiritual healing. It's not really, it's more than energy. It's actually information. Yes, people, go to the point to the energy, but it's more than energy. Energy carries the information. Information is the one determines. If it's just energy, it's, it's energy and information and a vibrational field.
Yeah, and in my dissertation, I found myself writing intuitively, energy is information. But part of that is because my model, subtle energy or chi, shapes the physical energies through the information from the larger field. If you know what I mean. I don't want to take up your time, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I'll be happy to share with you some of our paper. We have a quantum theory of consciousness published, and also we have another a paper just being accepted to publish the quantum theory of soul, and also quantum theory of life. And so today's talk is more about the recent paper on the quantum theory of the N+1 dimension. So I mentioned that, yeah. So yeah. Thank you for sharing your work. I think we are just very, we're in the same space. Yeah, it's different language and different way. So so we're trying to integrate with fundamental physics theory, and with mathematics, all integrated into one. Okay. Yeah, so all of spiritual phenomena can, at least what I know of, you can find out new ones maybe cannot be explained by our theory. I'd be happy to discuss that with you. Anybody about that? So Min Liu, Dr. Lin, what about our karma? So Min Liu, you want to show up your beautiful face and ask?
Hi, Dr. Rumi, how are you?
Yeah.
Hi, it's hi, ni hao. Hi. Yeah, I don't know how to shape this question in an articulate way, but you know how say if you meditate very deeply and then we're able to on some level reach that place where maybe consciousness, I mean our conceptual mind doesn't operate there. But you know, those higher level beings, they're able to go all the way to the point where they experience their mind mixes with emptiness. So as we're still mortal beings, let's say if I elevate myself to the higher level, but then there's still in the back of my mind, when I come out of my meditation, I cannot run the Olympics, long distance. There's the physical limitations that I still live with in this body.
Yes, that's why you need to release that. If you're still in that mindset, you cannot
I know.
high dimension.
Yeah. Yes. I understand. And then, so when I do healing on other people, I get stuck with that. I'm doing the healing, but I don't know if that subject karma, how much, and then it kind of limits me because my mind gets in the way of doing the healing, because you don't know. I don't know what's the karmic component of that, the whoever that I'm healing. So can you explain a little bit more? And then also, this is also every time I'm tracing, for example, I'm tracing the Taiyuan Guangjing, right? And I'm thinking for David Mauser, he maybe has a lot of like flowers in his Akashic record, so he's able to manifest like that. Let's say if I have not that much in my Akashic record, then it doesn't work as fast or something. So that's I guess my question is, there is still a karmic component within this whole thing. How does that work?
Yeah, karma is here.
I'm not sure if I asked the question correctly.
Yeah, so I understand what you're asking. So yeah, basically your mind is blocking you. So karma is definitely, the blockage is the karma, the negative karma that creates the disconnection is definitely within this. So in your case, is your connection, is your mind is trying to block you to connect with the higher dimensions and to receive the flowers, receive the virtue, positive information. Is it doubting and questioning? So literally blocking you from receiving. So you really need to do practice to quiet your mind and open your heart to receive. So this is what you need to do. Yeah. And
so
yeah,
receive me.
So you spend your mind is constantly questioning that it limits your ability to.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have divine love, which teach people how to use the heart. We literally train you how to do that. So highly recommend you to take that course and meditate every day with us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other burning questions here? You can just unmute yourself, ask. Otherwise, I'm going forward. I think it's already an hour and a half. I'm not getting to the point yet. Okay.
Is it okay if I go?
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was great that you showed the Sierpinski triangle and as a self-similar fractal. I think that totally reminds me of Qualia Research Institute's research on hyperbolic geometry and the progression of that as people take psychedelics, and that connects with the research that I'm presenting at the Science of Consciousness conference this year. I don't know if you're going to Barcelona this year, Rulin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking at critical dynamics as a solution to the panpsychist combination problem. So all of these things are connected. This hyperbolic geometry that shows up in psychedelic experiences. This happens as brain phase moves closer to the critical point. And so you have these more and more complex geometric figures showing up in psychedelic experiences. And this is also seen in meditation and anomalous mystical experiences. I mean, and it ties in with neurodivergence as well, and Roberto Assagioli's work. So yeah, it was really cool to see that self-similar fractal shape.
Yeah, yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
so
I'm
much
writing
for
a
this
paper.
session.
Yeah, I'm writing a paper actually about, because the critical self organized criticality, that phenomena has never been explained from fundamental physics
Yeah,
view. Yeah, so I'm writing a paper how to do that with our grand unified theory. Yeah, so which is quite exciting.
that's terrific. And
Yeah,
Carol,
yeah.
I'd love to connect with you as well. So
Yeah, yeah. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah, so there are a lot of very exciting research now coming out of Tao Science. Also writing a paper about why our universe is dominated by the matter, but there's no antimatter. And so our grand unified theory can predict that.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So okay, so that's coming forward. So okay, so we understand a little bit more about the dimensions, yeah. So yeah, so the point, this point is that if we go into the higher dimensions, so the higher dimension that carries, so to realize the purpose of our life is actually going to the higher dimensions, because is, because the purpose of life is to enhance the positive information, right? And go to the higher dimension, then we have more powers and more connections and more life, right? So, so literally, the purpose of life is going to higher dimensions, and so, but how to go to the higher dimensions, and also if we have difficulties and challenges, so remember, so imagine you have difficult challenges in n dimension, so which means that there's this negative information living in the n dimension, right? And they cause the disconnection, right? And so this disconnection could be this object, and they are, and this object of n-dimensional object cannot be connected with the rest of part of your body, rest of the systems, and they just cause this disconnection right inside you, or in some in your organization, or in your relationships, your finances, and they just create this disconnection, things you want to happen, and because of this disconnection, it will not happen. So you obviously want to release this n-dimensional negative information, right? And how to do it? And so we consider, so you want to have a field, right, which can build the connection. So you want a positive field. So positive field, and to help remove this disconnection and build more connections. So think about this positive field that can help everything inside this thing to build a connection with outside or within itself. Itself is also cannot connect, maybe, or maybe itself is connected, but it cannot connect with the rest of the organization, the body, the system. So you have this field to help this thing to connect. And you can entangle this field. This is a positive field. What is the meaning of the positive field? Positive field means that it can connect, right? It can brings order, brings harmony. So this positive field, you can become entangled with this negative, this negative information and field, negative object system that creates negative information, and can entangle with them, and then help this to become connected with outside, and also remove the blockages inside, right? So the point is, what kind of field we need? This positive field. So we need a positive field, and that can remove the blockages in this field. And so you can think about, even I have one-dimensional field of this positive field, and then if I connect this positive n-dimension, lower dimension, if this positive field is less, the positive field dimension, I would think about is P. If it is, make it higher, right? If this dimension is this positive field, the dimension is less than n, right? And then this field, so it can connect with outside, but then it's only connected in the lower level, right? And it's actually, you lower the dimension of this object. So obviously that's not you want. You want it, so you want it to be higher than n, right? You want it higher than 1. But I also remember, to increase the dimension, actually it's not that easy. It's not that easy at all, because to change the dimension, it takes, just think about the humanity, right? Takes how many thousands of years we go into the space. And that third dimension, we already actually know the third dimension. But then even be able to go to the space, right? We need a lot of energy and to move the rocket and go up there. So really change an object from lower dimension to higher dimension is actually very difficult. So, and it's also, the system needs to go through very profound and deep change. Very profound, deep change. So, and also you want, the purpose of life is go to higher dimensions. So you want to maybe just go into the 1 + 1, P equals 1 to transform this field. Yeah. So this is why, our suggestion for healing any systems, you just find out what the problem of this system is, where the dimension is, and then use higher, just 1 dimension higher to transform this dimension. Like right now, humanity, we are living in the 2-dimensional Mother Earth. We're trying to go into the 3-dimension. Yeah. And then, so if this, and so if the blockages in this object, remember, there is dimension, also the information. So this information of this system, the negative information, can be in a higher dimension. It could be 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9 higher dimensions, or even much higher. So so you would think about, why we come, so originally the emptiness, we all coming from a Tao, right? We all coming from a Tao. The Tao is the infinite possibilities, the emptiness, which is our true self and which is a source. So the emptiness has infinite possibilities. It can be anything. So it can be any higher dimensions. So our consciousness can, if we can connect with this source, and every possibility is possible. But however, when our consciousness we started restricting ourselves, we're starting to attach to something, we're starting to make a judgment, discrimination, then we're starting to to become smaller and smaller our consciousness. Like, maybe you tell yourself, I cannot go there, and then you bound yourself. Nina is nodding her head, and I was trying to give her healing, and she's afraid of her own fear, of her own pain. When you're afraid of your own pain, then you limit yourself. So the reason we become a lower dimensional beings, because we have been limiting ourselves. Our consciousness, we don't want to allow our consciousness as free as to be. We limit ourselves to this and that. Yeah. And so the key is, for the healing and the blessing is to go into the higher consciousness. So this is, for this, most people cannot even comprehend how to go to the higher consciousness. But this is Master Sha, because of his service, and he can go into the source to bring high dimensional vibrations to specific problems you have and help you to transform that. But on the hand, he can remove you on the information level. But you need to allow yourself to receive that information, receive their high dimensional vibrations. If you still think about, you're still thinking in 3-dimension or lower dimensions, even not even 3-dimension, lower dimensions, then you cannot receive what he's giving to you. And also the source is right within us. And is everywhere. It's inside, outside of us. So if at this moment you allow your consciousness, allow your heart to receive all the informations, and then you can go to the higher dimensions also. But the problem with most people is that you are so restricted by your karma, which just means the past negative information. Even you want to, you cannot. That is why you need Master Sha. For some of you need Master Sha. Some of us need Master Sha to help you to release some of those disconnection. Yeah. And then at the same time, we need to open our heart, to open our mind, to receive, and to also connect with people. Yeah. To serve means to connect with people. Then allow ourselves going to be healthier, happier, more empowered, going to the higher dimensions. Yeah. So I just show you why we need to, why Master Sha say, needs N+1 to transform the N-dimensional negativities. Yes. And so he used the Tao technology, which is Tao calligraphy, to take the, people are sick, people are in difficulties and challenges, to help them. It's not only just, remove your blockages. The blockages actually, it's really to uplift your life to a higher consciousness. So this is why this, what he's doing is so magnificent and so can be so helpful to people. Yeah. But on the hand, we also have to do our part of the work. We cannot just allow our mind to stay in the lower dimensions or allow our mind to take control, and so that we can not go to the higher dimension or even to receive what he's trying to give to you, help you to heal. Yeah. And so this is at this moment, any questions? And then if not, we will do some practices. So go ahead. Let me see, there are any questions, and then we can do some questions. Also, yeah, you can unmute yourself, just ask. How did we correct negative karma in higher dimension? Yeah, so negative karma is basically disconnection, and you become, you know, in a high dimension, there's all possibilities. And then suddenly you saw something, you become so attached to it. And then you lower your dimensions. You don't, you know, you become so attached or something you so don't like it. And then that makes you smaller. Did that make sense? Down. So any questions? So you can, more questions? So, okay, so now we can maybe do do a meditation, yeah. So do some practice to help us to go to the higher dimension. Okay, so that is the key. So how to go to the higher dimension, yeah? So go to higher dimension. First is allow ourselves to open up our heart to receive. You think about the science, right? Science now builds the telescope, build a microscope to look deeper in everything, look out there and to receive the information, right? Receive the vibration. And the same thing with us. So in this way, science is trying to go into the higher dimensions and trying to take humanity to higher dimensions. But because our own limitation of our consciousness right now, science can only stay in, you know, the physics, at least right now, or the you know, in the lower dimensions, we can only receive this 4-dimensional informations. So in the same way, how can we uplift our consciousness to the higher dimensions? Also, our, you know, with the consciousness, our whole being to the higher consciousness. The way to do it. So let's have a deep breath. Breathe into it, into our lower abdomen. Just allow ourselves to become aware, observe, and feel everything. Allow ourselves to be aware, observe, and feel everything. So many people have a lot of fear. Yeah, so why you're living in a lower dimension? Because you're fear. You cannot allow yourself to be in the higher dimension. But then to go to the higher dimension, now you become aware, observe, and feel your fear. Instead of be controlled by your fear, now you become aware of your fear. Aware, observe, and feel everything inside you and outside of you. Let's first go inside, yeah? And also outside, yeah. Go inside, become aware, observe, and feel. The higher dimension is right within you. Be aware, observe, and feel everything, especially the things you really don't like. And all the things you're so attached, yeah. Become aware you're attaching to something. Observe your attachment and feel your attachment. So be aware, observe, and feel everything. Aware, observe, and feel everything. Especially become aware, observe, and feel the limitations you put yourself. When you become aware, observe, and feel them, then they actually can be melted away. Otherwise, they secretly controls you and imprison you in the lower dimension. And see whether you can now become aware, observe, and feel the whole universe. Everything out there and inside and outside. Maybe you can start to become aware, observe, and feel what is inside you, and then your chairs, floor, your room. Become aware, feel them, and also allow your awareness, feeling goes into the land, the whole country, or your neighborhood, the trees, flowers, air, the sunshine, the blue sky, the hills, the mountains, rivers. So your beloved ones, people, become aware, observe, and feel them. And if thoughts come up, become aware, observe, feel your thoughts. Become aware, observe, and feel Mother Earth. All the land, ocean, mountain, animals, humanity. Continue breathe into your lower abdomen. Be grounded. Go inside your body. Be aware, observe, and feel. Feel the Mother Earth's love for you, support for you. Created everything for you to support you, to nourish you. And then the sun brings all this life, the sunshine and the food for us. Stars, galaxies, they're holding beautiful secrets, wisdom. Be aware, observe, and feel Mother Earth's love, the sun's love, planets, stars, galaxies, their love. You breathe into your lower abdomen. Go inside your body, feel this love from universe. So love is a positive field. Love will help you to connect with everything, repair that disconnection. So feel the universe love. And there are countless universes. They're all sending love to you, loving you, supporting you. Feel this love. Feel. Feel the love. Feel everything. No resistance. Just embrace everything. Embrace everything. Embrace this moment. Everything comes up with totality. Just completely embrace everything. Feel everything. Feel, feel, and feel, 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 feel. Feel the love. 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 Just feel the love. Anything come up, feel the love. Everything in our life is part of the love. Feel it. It doesn't matter, it's a pain, it's fear, it is sadness. Everything is part of this high dimensional vibration of love. Feel them all. Completely be present with all of them. It's what's inside you, outside of you, everything around you. Let's completely connect and feel them all. And this moment, you are going to the higher dimensions. And if you continue to practice, continue, go deeper and deeper into connecting with everything with no limitation, embracing everything as love, you can go to higher and higher dimensions. In your heart, in your soul, in your mind, in your energy, and also with your body. That'll be a very exciting journey. So I welcome you to be on this journey with us, with Tao Science and also Divine Love and Tao Technology. Thank you so much for being here. Anyone want to share anything?
Thank you so much, Dr. Rowling. I think I speak for everyone saying that we would love to continue and stay in this field much, much longer. It was such a beautiful teaching that we received today. Personally, I can say I felt a lot of transformation going on, many aha moments, and a heart filled with love and gratitude. Such an immense love and gratitude. The tears were running down my cheeks, and I consider myself being so blessed to be on this path and to be able to receive at this time this wisdom. Yes, I'm still I'm still in that meditation. Thank you so much. I also wanted to say that the recording will be sent out to everyone, so you can go through the teachings once again and connect with this practice once again. And please join our daily divine love meditations. Are 15 minutes every day. They are so powerful. You can transform your life just being in that field. I think our team will put once again the links here there in the chat. Please connect, please join us, enjoy, and have a beautiful journey wherever it takes you.
Thank you so much, Karina. Yeah, I have one day I take a walk, maybe for 2 hours, and the whole time I'm taking a walk, I said just to feel the love of everything. And when I come back from that 2-hour walk, and I remember I received a call from Master Sha. Before that, he said, I know my dimension was still having a hard time to go up. And then that day he called me. He said, you're now in a much higher dimension, such a higher dimension. And so I'm not going to tell you because you're going to get too proud of yourself. And and literally, I just spend the whole time just feeling the love of everything. So this is today with the end. That's what we are doing. So welcome you, all of you, practice it. And this is a beautiful springtime. Go out, just feel the love of everything, and allow yourself go into the higher dimensions. Okay. And for some people, Nina puts the record about consultation. For some people, really have difficulties to connect, and so you can have consultation with me. I'd be happy to help you. Yeah. So love you all. Thank you, Karina. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, everyone, for your Carol, everyone for your great service. Without your service, it's not happening. And also, we want to make better PowerPoint. So any of you want to help with the PowerPoint, and Monica will make a better PowerPoint, get this prepared. And so thank you. Love you. Bye.